What's the shadow box? All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to episode 32 of Pours with Patriots. Very special episode. We've had a few of them, but I want to welcome my Afghani brother. I mean that from my bottom of my heart, and we'll talk about a little bit why we say that. I didn't serve personally with Fawad, but did serve with many other interpreters like him. So. As you can see, we've been hyping up the past couple of days. We do have a special guest. We have Fawad, Magnum, Sharifi. And we're going to talk about the Magnum name because as we go on a little bit longer, because it was a little bit different than when I was there. But welcome, Fawad. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for inviting me, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here.
All right, we're looking forward to the story. But are we gonna go Magnum for the rest of the program? Or are we going Fawad? Are we going to Magnum? What do you want to do? What?
Magnum or Sharifi, that's fine.
I think we'll start with Magnum. So, we'll start with that before we get into the quote. The name Magnum. Did you pick that, or did they pick it for you?
No, my former supervisor gave that nickname to me. Matt Respect, he gave that name to me, Magnum. And actually, I doesn't know about the meaning of Magnum. I doesn't know about the meaning. What's that mean? When they call me Magnum, I say, yes, sir. Yeah, that's it.
So now you know the meaning, right?
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool name, then, right?
Yeah.
So if you had a choice, what would your name be? What would your name have been if you got to choose?
Oh, my first team was calling me like Tom Cruise. Yeah, they was calling me Tom Cruise. I said, why are you guys calling me Tom Cruise? They told me that you like guns. Like, we have a hero by the name of Tom Cruise. Because of that, we are calling you Tom Cruise.
I thought it was also maybe the hair too, because you got some good Tom Cruise hair going. But we'll start off with a quote. And there's gonna be some really good quotes here in reference to what you used to do there and what many of your fellow Afghani and Iraqi nationals did in support of 20 some years of war. So the first quote I pulled up was from Louis Palou. It says, "We slept in trenches, fields, and under armored vehicles together. We were shot at, shelled, and bombed, and at times we even performed first aid on casualties together. They, interpreters, carried no weapons and hid their faces when on patrol, out of fear that they or their families would become targets. Despite all of this, they always had a great sense of humor, a prerequisite for emotional survival in one of the cruelest conflicts in the world." And that one hit home to me because I always remember my interpreter that I had was always in a good mood, always happy. Why is that? Because I've read a lot of that where they said that your guys' you always had a great sense of humor, had a good positive outlook. What do you think that reason is?
The reason was that, sir, because my dad was keep asking me for what American United States Army coming here to support us. We need to support them. Because of that, I joined with Army. My salary was $600 per month. $600 was nothing in Afghanistan. I was not working for money for American. I was not working for that I want to come to the United States. I joined with the Army to support my guests in Afghanistan, to support my brothers, my American brothers on there. They asked me we are writing recommendation letter for you. If you want, you can come with us to the United States. I say, no, I need to stay in here to support another team. My former supervisor, my hero, my life hero, Matt Respect, he asked me like multiple times about that. I said, no, I need to stay, support another teams. I did that. I stay on there. I joined with another army. I joined with American Special Forces for 2 months. I was just sleeping. I remember that I was just sleeping for like 4 hours and 24 hours with the Special Forces. And I really appreciate the Special Forces and regular armies and Marines that they support my country, Afghanistan, my people, Afghan people. I really appreciate that all. And at the first, I need to say thanks for my brother Madres back, because he saved my life. I really appreciate you guys to invite me in here. I really appreciate those people that they're supporting me and they're helping me in here. I really appreciate that all. Uh, Afghan interpreters, when I was on there in Kandahar, some people, at the time we had in Afghanistan, 2 companies was hiring interpreters. One of them was International Management Service. The other name was MEP company. I don't know what was the that full name, the MEP company, but IMS company was hiring those people that they was really poor and they just can't speak a little bit English. They was hiring that and they was training those people and they was assigning for a unit. The first time when I assigned for a unit, I'm starting from when I start for working for ISAF. I start working first for Supreme Company. When I was at school, I was doing at night shift because my dad was like, he really like Americans, really like American people, not just to he come America, because they come, they help us, they make a freedom for Afghan peoples. He was thinking to how can we support them. And when he asked me to, you need to start working with Americans because I can't speak English, you need to go. I joined with Supreme Company. That company was like food service for US armies. I joined on there for 1 year. After 1 year, one of my friends asked me to, hey, if you want, you can come to Kandahar. I never been in Kandahar. I was just know about Kandahar.
I didn't either until I went
yeah,
there.
Kandahar is a really dangerous place, really danger area, especially for Kabul people, for Central people. When I joined, when he asked me, I say, okay, I can come with you. I quit my job on Supreme. I goes with one of my friends to Kandahar. When I arrived to the Kandahar, they did like background check, everything, and they did a test, interview, everything. I passed that everything. They asked me to, now you have to wait for training. I get my train after like 2 months. The first unit, that unit was my former supervisor unit, Matt back. I start working with them. And
so he's the one that did all the bad things to you, and
no, that was not the bad thing.
No,
Yeah.
we're joking. No, he was, and who he's referring to is Matt was on. I think I can't remember the episode number, but Matt was the one that talked about, and we'll talk about a little bit later. Matt was the one that introduced us to Fawad and told a little bit about his story, and we'll talk about that later on. Obviously, or you will about that story though. So Matt is a former guest who, they're talking about each other, which is awesome to hear. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So.
Yeah. My first unit was that unit, Madras back unit, that I saw working with them. And especially that every interpreter was like Matt, because he was a really friendly with everyone, with all interpreter. Everyone was like Matt. Everyone's like, my first unit was that my first fob that I saw working, that was for Fortunic. And all interpreter was when they need like uniform, boots, armor. They was just asking me, hey, can you please ask Matt to, we need this, we need that, like that. I say, okay, you guys can go and talk with him. And they was happy, like a supervisor, when you go asking a supervisor, hey, I need this, I need that, you're not like comfortable for that. Right. And everyone was like happy, and they was going and asking Matt, hey, we need uniform, we need armor, we need boots for that. The first time when I meet Matt, my brother, it was on IMIS company that they come and take me from there, and they assigned me for that unit. I forgot the unit name. But when I goes on there, I was not thinking that I'm a interpreter. I was thinking that I'm a United States Army soldier. I never feel that I'm just an interpreter. Because family, parents, everyone was like keep asking me when I was kid. They was asking me, "They're our guest. They're our guest,"
Yeah.
and I never think I got like a lot of the first year that I start working with U.S. Army. They start treating me. I received like 1,000 phone calls to stop working, to stop work with American Army, uh, do another job. I was believing my job, and I was not wrong. I'm calling from here. I know some people they're uh, watching me. I think my friends watching me. I was not wrong. I was not wrong that I work for U.S. Army. I'm not telling that because I'm in here, the United States. Before they asked me to come to the United States, I refused that. I asked them, no, I need to stay in here to support because I know some of my people in Afghanistan that they're just thinking about religion. I'm not coming on that because some people is using of my word and making some bad story about that. I'm not talking about my religion, but my religion is just friendship. Just friendship with everyone. Not just with Muslims, not just with Christians. My religion is, I'm just calling from here.
Yeah.
I'm telling from here that my religion is, I'm not, some people is asking me, are you Muslim? I say, no, I'm not Muslim. I'm just, my religion is just friendship with everyone. Because they make from Muslim religion like a scary thing for everyone.
Yeah.
In my country, sorry that I'm telling, sorry, I'm really sorry, Afghan people, that I'm telling, no knowledge in Afghanistan. Be careful, they're using you guys about your religion. Don't think about just religion. Just religion is not one thing for be a good person.
That's true. I mean, that's one of the things that I think I was there a lot earlier when you started working. I looked at Fawad jumped into it. I love it. I thought I was going to call him Magnum or Tom. We'll call him Tom Cruise here. But Maverick. We'll call him Maverick. But like Fawad said, just to get a little more background about him. He grew up in Kabul. He was born in 1989, so he's a young guy still. Graduated from high school in Haji
Abdul Qadir.
Qadir
Haji Abdul Qadir High School.
There you go. He can say way better than me. So, in 2010, so he talked about the first job he had was actually with Supreme Food. That was in 2009. So his time in high school, he was actually working with the U.S. military doing food service, some stuff like that, and then started doing his just for a timeline. Started being an interpreter in 2010, and did that from 2010 to 2014. And he jumped into a lot of things. It's great. You got into which I love when the guests get on and they just take control and they do that. But go back a little bit, when 9/11 happened, you were 12 years old. Your country got thrust into what I'd say mainstream media, and you were living in a country that was at war. So what was that like, at 12 years old? And your world had to change at that, just like our world changed after 9/11. What was it like as a 12-year-old growing up in Afghanistan?
When I was going to school, when I was seeing American armies on 2002, on 2000, I remember on 2004 when I was walking to go school, one American base was near of my house. I was trying to talk by English with American. I just was not to, hey, hi, how are you, like that much English. When I was talking with that soldiers, like they was getting happy to one kid's trying to speak English with us, and I was feeling good with that. One time I remember that I asked my mom, I think she's watching us. I asked my mom to, hey mom, can you please cook a good food, a very good, a delicious food for these American soldiers in here? And she asked me, sure, I can make that for you, but son, make sure, because we don't have a good background for Americans, for any countries. We don't have any good background. I say, mom, please cook a little bit. And she cooked. She cooked for me that food. I take that food. I goes to the uh, U.S. Army base, and they stop me. I say, I got just food for you guys. I got food. I was just my uncle was teaching me that just tell them to I got food. My uncle was also an interpreter. He's at the United States. Living in California. Uh, and one of the soldier come on there. He just smelled that food and he asked me, "Okay, thank you." And I saw that he threw out that food. And I come back. I say for mom, hey, they didn't eat your food. I was crying. Actually, I was crying. My mom and my dad asked me, son, because some people make a bad background for us. We need to make back a good background for us in here. And I was thinking from that age, like when I was 13 or 14, I was thinking about that too. We need to make a good background, not just for American, for all the world. And we started when I started, I started working to try, because I was under the age. I can't apply for any job with Americans. I was trying to learn English. I paid for my course, and I think my dad's watching me. I think he's thinking about those times that I was working in a construction company when I was under the age, and I was paying for my course or for that center that they teach me English. It means that I was washing cars, I was cleaning some house, to they pay me to I can learn English. For not just for that, to I'm coming to the United States. I was not thinking about that, to support Americans' army. After when I get that age, I start working with the US Army on Supreme Company. I have a good background on that company. After that, I start working as a interpreter. When I quit my job, I didn't quit my job with American. I try more because the company, IMS company, lost contract with US armies.
Right. So maybe you can help with this. So when I was there in 2000, beginning of 2003, okay,
Yeah.
we didn't have a contracted interpreters. I was in Kandahar. We worked with the warlord at the time was General Galali, so we got interpreters from directly from the warlord. So it was kind of different relationship. Like we weren't as embedded with you. So what year did that change? Where, because everybody I was there was mainly the warlord. We were getting our interpreters from
companies.
No, not from companies, from Afghani warlords. It was General Galali and his people. So it was funny. You talked about getting vetted. Like we would they didn't stay with us on Kandahar. We would pick them up. We never told them where we were really going until we got there. Just kind of that, because we really didn't know everything about them. When did that change? When they decided to say we're taking this from? Do you know?
On 2006.
Okay.
The first company was hiring the interpreter was on 2006. IMS company, MEP company. Sorry, MEP company. On 2008, IMS company started working in Kandahar, just in Kandahar, not for all the area, just for Kandahar, Helmand, and Uruzgan. The three provinces was covering by IMS company, because Kandahar, Helmand, and Uruzgan was most dangerous part of Afghanistan. The first time, my mom was not letting me go to Kandahar. The first that I asked my mom to, hey, I want to go to Kandahar to start working with US Army. He was not. She asked me to, Fawad, you can work in here. You can support from here. I say no. I have to go on that danger part to support. I didn't call brother. I just say to support my US brothers. And she was crying. And that's hard for a mom. I think, if we be honest, that's really hard for a mom. And she asked me, okay. And I called for my uncle. He was working in another province by position of interpreter. I called on that night to talk with my mom to make him a little comfortable to I can join with the army. And when he called for my mom, and it was 8 morning, and she asked me, if you want, you can go. I say, okay, now I'm good. I'm going. I just actually, especially, I don't have to buy a plane ticket money to go to Kandahar. I asked my friend, I'm just telling the truth. I asked my friend to, hey, if you can buy me a plane ticket so I can come to Kandahar, and he buy that plane ticket. But I pay back that. But because I was really like happy I can join with the armies in Kandahar.
So you mentioned earlier, you said that being from Kabul was even dangerous for you, being from Kabul and Kandahar. Can you explain that? Because I think a lot of people who might not know why that is. I mean, people think it's a little bit different than saying, "Hey, I'm from New York and Texas." There's it's not so safe for New York to be in Texas, but it's a lot different. Can you explain why?
I hope that once time I will see Afghanistan like United States. No one's think about New York, California, like that. In Afghanistan, we have 4 different people, like Tajik, Pashtun, Hazara, Uzbek. I was Hazara, Tajik. Tajik, Hazara is the same. I was Hazara and Tajik. That is still they are fighting with. I think you guys are checking Facebooks, everything, that they are still fighting with Tajik and Hazara. I was Hazara and Tajik. My mother's side was Tajik, my father's side was Hazara. And because of that, they don't like Hazara and Tajiks, Pashtun, especially Pashtun, like Kandahar people, Helmand people, Uruzgan people, those people, but not North people like Mazar Sharif, Kunduz, those part of Afghanistan like Tajik, because they are Tajik and Hazaras. They have Tajik and Hazara. And they don't like this from the center, from Kabul people. Because government was supporting United States Army. I don't know what was the idea of those people that they was fighting with the United States Army. And a real Pathan, we are calling for Afghan people, the real Afghan people, we are calling Pathan. The real Pathan never fight with guests. I'm like telling this, the real Pathan, the real Afghan never fight with guests.
Right.
This is the best friend of God for us in my religion. The best friend of God is our guest. That when someone is coming on your house, you have to take care of everything for them. Food, everything. But our guests pay for our food. Our guests pay for to be alive, to be have a wonderful life, but they didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I know they're listening, or they're watching us, or they're after that they will watching us, and I know that they are making problem again for my parents. They did that. They take my dad from my house. They take me from my house. I'm just telling this that they will answer one day. When they take me, when they enter to Kabul, after like 2-3 days, they take me from my house.
So we're talking about you're talking about 20. You're talking about after the U.S. forces left.
I'm talking about that.
Yeah, so Fawad, I mean, we can jump into that, but I before we get into that, because I think that's the great story. But I think that to let listeners know too that have never been there, but when Fawad speaks about them not liking each other, it's not like, hey, a Red Sox and Yankee fan, there's a general dislike that they will not work with it. When I was there, we couldn't get people to work together. There was no trust in each other. They didn't, it was just, I can see what you're saying. That's why I remember doing that. I remember going to a couple different villages that we thought they could work together, and they refused to do anything together. And in my mind, I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand that we were trying to do something to make them both better, but they'd rather have nothing than for you to be happy and me to be happy. It was the craziest. It was the craziest thing I'd probably seen, in my life at that point, where, that they didn't want to do it because, we were trying to help another village that, didn't have the same background as them, which is, and it's pretty, I mean, that, and it's not, like I said, it's pretty serious there. Am I understating that or no?
Yeah, you were right. And the first time that I started working, like I was walking with Pashtuns, was in Kandahar. With Pashtun, I'm not calling Pashtun like with Afghanis, and I don't like thinking like those people that we are Hazara, Tajik, we are all one Afghanis, like we are Afghanis, we are living in one flag, in one place, in one area. I'm just telling that when I started working with the US Army, I remember once time that I was walking for patrol with my team, and one of Kandarian guy, he was old. He was like 65 or 68 years old. He asked me that, why you working with the US Army? I say, why? Why you asking me this? Because you're our guest. We need to support this. They don't know about our area. They don't know about anything in here that they come. The government knows, but the soldiers doesn't know about anything. I need to be with them. I need to show our culture for them. I need to teach our culture for them. And he asked me, no, you are also like same like non-Muslim. I say, okay, I'm non-Muslim. If you think like that, I'm non-Muslim, go ahead, what you want to do. Yeah. And he asked me that, why you are not joining with Afghanistan government? I say, American government, Afghan government is the same. You're the same. That company that I'm working, that's for belongs to Afghan government. They are the same for me. You're also, I just start like talking a little bit like not good, and I told him that, hey, I really respect Americans more than you, because you making this scene for all the world. But I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to make bad scene for all the world.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, I talked to my wife about a lot, some of the things that we did, and to help out, what I think, like you said, was a bad impression. I think even among Americans, that we were there just to, wage war and occupy or things like that. I never took it as that was a point. I mean, there's definitely some people that we were waging war against, but we were there to help, rebuild a country and put that country in its own. My mind was to empower the people to do things and to make their life better, because not to say anything bad about Afghanistan, but I always get pretty critical when I talk to people who bitch about things in the United States. Like, if you haven't been to Afghanistan, and like when I was there in 2003, or even now, like in some other places that a lot of people in the military have served, you really don't know how bad it was. I mean, there's that was what I had a lot of pride in being able to. I thought we were helping. It's good to hear you say it, because that's how I think a lot of us felt, that we were really helping make the country better and to empower the people. And it does hear you to say that you felt that same way about us, that we weren't these evil occupiers, that some people thought.
So I lost my grandpa because that I was working for U.S. military, U.S. Army. I lost my grandpa for that. I got my shock in my leg. I didn't quit my job because I was trust to Americans. I trust to American armies. I trust to all those armies that they live families and they come to support us.
So, what made you trust us? What was your to be able to a lot of people would say, hey, I lost, I got wounded, I lost a family member. That would be a reason for a lot of people to say this is a bad thing. But what do you have such a trust in us for?
Before I told you guys, sir, that I never worked for money for U.S. Army. I was trust on that they will bring a freedom for our country, for my people, for my family. for my brothers, for my sister, for all Afghan people. I was trust on that. And still I trust on Americans that they will bring back the peace in Afghanistan. They will bring back peace in Afghanistan. I don't trust to new government. I don't trust this government that they come from mountain and they are thinking that they're our government.
It's interesting to say the trust because and the freedom thing. I think sometimes Americans think that like freedom belongs to us. The word freedom and what that means. I was in Afghanistan in 2003. I can't tell you what the exact day was, but we worked with a warlord, and we had what we call an escort that would go around, and we actually went to his village. So we would have this whole procedure that we would do, and ask the village elder a bunch of questions and all kind of stuff. So they started talking to him, and we all knew him. Most 90% of us knew him very well. We were with him pretty much every couple of days, or once a week, I'd say. But some major that didn't know him, a U.S. Army major, asked him, why do you fight for the Americans? And he spoke English, understood English, but he never spoke English. So he had his interpreter. And one of my favorite things about interpreting that we get into is like how you guys can somebody can talk to you for 10 minutes and you just come back and say, he said no, just it's a joke to go through. But he, Sadiq was talking and his interpreter finally just came and said, probably, I wish I had a time to record it because when what he said, like, has never left me. And when you were saying, remind me of the same thing is he said, hey, I don't work for the Americans. I work, I work with them, for freedom. He's like, for freedom that I don't have to fight when I was, 10 years old. I don't have to fight that my son can be a teacher. My son can do all that kind of stuff. He's like, I fight for the same reason you do, for the freedom of my people. And I thought that's one of the hard things I think people forget. I think Americans want to take that word of freedom. And I think many people in Afghanistan wanted freedom and they still want freedom, and I think that's how I go to sleep every night, understanding that that's what I was over there to do. And many of my, brothers and sisters.
Yeah, sure. I'm not just telling on live for what's the situation in Afghanistan, what they're doing in Afghanistan right now. But everyone was on there that when American was on there, they worked not just for freedom. They was just to make a good people, a good peace in Afghanistan. There was trust on American. But that was not, now I'm seeing that some people is like calling that was the United States President Biden was for. No, that was not. We are so small to talk about that. I'm so like small for to talk about that. But if you think so, like Americans come over there to support us, to support my people. They pay for everything. They pay for our armies, like 300,000 armies. Like they left with nothing. And in 20 years, Americans spent like a lot of money to make a good army for peace in Afghanistan. Not just for Afghanistan, just for all the world. We are not talking just about Afghanistan. If Afghanistan gave freedom, all world is like because we have good Muslim in Afghanistan and we have bad Muslims in Afghanistan. That they are just taking the negative point of religion and they are fighting. When I started working, my knowledge was to start working with Americans, not just to support, just to be freedom, just to be a good person, just to learn about Americans. I was thinking like that. When I remember on 2011, on 2012, July 2012, I was work with Airborne. At the time, we had two interpreters. One of them was me, and the other one was one another Afghani. He was from Kunduz. He was Tajik. And every time that they was asking to, hey, today is your turn. You have to come to patrol with us. And he was refusing. No, I'm not coming because I'm fasting like that, like this. I'm fasting. I'm not coming to Patriot. And no one was asking me to come because that place was the most dangerous part of Kandahar. We are calling Panchwai one of the most dangerous part of Afghanistan and Kandahar. I never escaped because I was trust to my team. I was trust to US Army. They never asked me to come. I was just coming. Hey, I'm coming with you guys.
So I'm going to cut you off because he's talking about this is the time I think when you served the 82nd Airborne Division, right?
Yes, sir.
So Fawad sent me a couple letter of recommendations and people that were in the military understand that we didn't post any of those, but there's military names on them. But read through all of them. It's quite funny. But the one I actually took a picture of this one and wanted to say this. So this is from the 82nd Airborne Division. I'm not going to name who it's from, but it's August 22nd, 2012. A memorandum for whom it may concern, and it's a letter of recommendation. And in paragraph 2, it says, Fawad worked with the scout platoon in one of the most volatile areas in all of the RC South. For over a month, he went on combat patrols every day, risking his life and forsaking Ramadan in order to support my platoon. At the time, we had 2 interpreters, but one of them refused to go out because of Ramadan. It was Fawad's commitment to us and his belief in what we were doing in Afghanistan that drove him to pick up the extra patrols and go out every day. He also voluntarily sought out information from both the locals and our partners, risking his life in order to ensure our safety. I cannot say enough about this young interpreter. His zest for life, enthusiasm, and positive attitude were a continuous morale booster for me and my men. So it's. I think we're talking about the same guy. It sounds like.
Yeah, we are talking about my lieutenant, and
so with that thing, what did you say to the other interpreter? Was there ever any discussions between you and him, or about what he was doing or what he wasn't doing, or did you just go about doing your job?
Oh, some interpreter was like they was not doing good. Actually, not with Airborne. When I was with on. For Fortnite, some interpreter was not doing good. They was stealing some stuff. They was doing some bad thing. They was contact with some peoples. I'm not coming on that, but some interpreter was not doing good. And that interpreter, I was doesn't trust on that interpreter that he was my partner. I was not talking with that guy. Yeah, I was not talking with that guy.
You're like, that guy's trouble.
Yeah, I was, because
I'm sleeping with you guys. I'm not sleeping with them. No,
yeah, because some of interpreter was like making problem for you, because
at the time
I never talk about my family. I live with another interpreter because they was making problem, because we can't trust anyone on there, because I was in a war.
Were you at a time? Yeah, you were at a time also when at the height, when you were interpreted, the height of when we were seeing local Afghanis that were supposed to be working with American forces and coalition forces that were doing some really awful things.
Yes.
Not just stealing, but also we talked to a guest a couple weeks ago that talked about an incident where they killed and wounded Americans, and that was a normal thing to not which is interesting because you were in that height of the time where there had to be a lot of scrutiny, like a lot of people there. Did you feel like when you got moved to a different unit that they trusted you right away, or did you have to build trust with them? Does that make sense?
So actually, when I start working, when I was assigning with another unit, that's a little funny for you guys. I was asking to, hey, don't trust on me also. Right. We are the same blood. Don't trust on me, please. I was asking that question from my platoon, from my unit, don't trust on me, please. And if you read on that recommendation later that they has, that was reporting out from our partners, that because I was not thinking that I'm just an interpreter to walk and translate. I was looking to everyone, to who is doing good or who is doing bad. ANA was with us, ANP was with us, Afghan Special Forces was with us, Commando was with us, and I was not about those people. I was not about some secret of my people. I was directly go and report that to my LT, to my lieutenant, to my in charge.
Right.
And that make problem for me, because some of them that they was joining with the army and they was also reporting everything for new government that they are still in Afghanistan, Taliban. They was reporting everything for them. I was on there that once time, one of the important computer, they stole it from, I don't remember that base that I was working. It was like Auzi Madat base that I was working, that they stole that computer, and all like colonel, everyone was asking me for, we just trust on you, just please go and find that computer for us. And I was like walking in each tent, talking friendly with Afghan ANs, with Afghan commandos, with Afghan special forces to, hey, you guys, if you guys find this, I can buy that, or I can send for my family, like we can use it for good thing in Kabul. If you guys find, I can pay more money for you guys. And one of the idiot, I remember that one of the idiot soldiers came to me and asked me, hey, I got that, if you want to buy. I say, okay, how much you want?
You're in trouble.
Yeah. No, I pay for him. I pay for that guy like 10,000 Afghani. I pay for that guy 10,000 Afghani. I take the computer, I take it to my colonel, and I ask colonel to, hey, I pay 10,000 Afghani for this. Good, this guy, that guy, he stole that.
Did you get your money back?
Yeah, I got my money back. Yeah, I got my money back.
And
I got from the same guy back. Because I know that many numbers in my notebook.
Right.
And I showed to my colonel, hey, I paid like that much money, and that's the many numbers.
So how much is 10,000 in American money?
It was on that time. It was like 200 Afghani, to $100.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, I feel like it'd be worth more than that. But I think that technique can only work once, though. If you do that, if someone does something bad, you're like, I'll buy it from you. Like, don't sell it to Fawad because he's going to tell the Americans no. But I know. I mean, that's. I mean, it's interesting to see because there's a lot of different people who have different views of. There's actually even military members that have had like so. I said for my trust, I didn't have a blind trust in our interpreters. I had a regular interpreter. Hamid, he would come out all the time, but I didn't really, I didn't stay with him all the time. And again, I didn't really, there's some stuff that, we didn't, what I mean, the mutual trust is there's some things we couldn't tell him. And there was some things that, he didn't tell us, which was always funny because, that was, always interesting because I always thought I had the upper hand about what I knew, like all the special stuff, like, oh, you didn't know this. But I remember one time something happened and I was threatening that to a bunch of drivers and said I had General Galali's cell number and I was if they did this again I'd call him and all this kind of stuff and he like afterwards he's like, oh, you have General Galali's number and I'm like no I don't and he's like well he's like I have his cell number and I'm like he has a cell phone and he's like oh I have a cell phone too and he reaches down and grabs it. I was like oh my god, like I mean I didn't even know you had a cell phone, but it was like that it was glad to see that trust because I felt like the same time with Hamid, more of my time with him was, Mike was here a couple weeks ago. He was he's still in the Army. He served a long time in Afghanistan. And we did spend so much time with our interpreters when we were there. I mean, if you were in certain roles, you were using them, they're like, they rode with you everywhere in the same vehicle. You were always there talking to people with them together. And I think, that's where I was always asking questions about the culture. I think that one thing always was the same. I think that the interpreters we had too were also trying to teach us about the Afghani people, the thing, the good and the bad, right? Does that make sense? Yes. And to keep us out of trouble the main thing of like, I learned a lot because I didn't want to offend anyone when I was there, I mean, as much unless I had to, if that makes sense. Like if you're dealing with people, I want to be very respectful of that person. But, sometimes you would tell me like that person, don't worry about it. Just, do what you have to do because they don't have respect for themselves. Then, they're not going to, don't worry about, disrespecting them. So that bond, I think is with all of us that serve with you and your fellow
yes sir. Some interpreters they was doing like that, and some interpreters like not translating the true thing.
Yeah. No.
Some
I mean,
interpreters was not doing like translating the true thing. That what if I translate like more than 100 times for my, if they ask me, I know General Razik, one of the Kandahar commander, I know that guy. I know General Pacha Khan, that he was, when I was in Shawali Court on the Matt Stressback team, General Pacha Khan was the commander of that district, and he was asking me, I translate for that guy like more than like 5 times. He was directly asking me to don't translate like that. When I'm using some words, when I'm using don't translate that, he was like directly asking me, and I was not listening. When he was left, I was going and talking about that to my LT, to hey, he was talking like that with about that with me, and he asked me to don't translate that for them, and because they was hire me to translate, they trust on me, they keep me in the same place, in the same room, in the same place that they was living. They trust on me. If I broke that trust, if you broke, like now I'm coming to my culture again, if you broke in a Muslim culture a trust, you are not a good Muslim. I didn't broke any trust. I was like, no one's perfect. I did a mistakes. I did a lot of mistakes. Once time my team asked me that they saw a hedgehog. I doesn't know about hedgehog means. To what's hedgehog? When I was translating, they saw a dog. Right. Can you guys find that for them? Like,
I just brings me back. It's funny that this is when I can't tell you how much this episode like takes me back to like being there. Where like the funny thing you said about the translating the right thing is what I always tell people. We would say like we'd be talking. I'd be like, like Fawad, ask this guy like, we know that these people were here. Have they seen like blah blah blah? And this guy or this person would talk for like 5 minutes, and he would look over and go, he said no, and I'd be like, But he had to say a lot of other stuff there. He'd be like, but he just basically said no. But I was like, what? Like, tell us everything he said. Like, and then when you start drilling down to him, they'd be like, well, he said that they weren't here like today, but he saw, and you just be like, and when you were done, you're like, just whenever they say, like, just tell us everything. And they're like, and he'd be like, do you want to, why do you want to know everything? Like, for the people that are listening, everything is important, like, so just tell us everything they'd say. But, and then the words of when you were trying to, to tell people like things like one time I was frustrated with some kids and I was like, I'm like, he's like, I don't know what this word is like in from here. Like, I don't know how to say this word. And I'm like, well, what do they act like? He's like, these kids are acting like fucking assholes. This word? I'm like, yes, I know that word. He's like, I didn't know. He's like, they're fucking assholes. So like for a week, every time he'd be like, that guy's a fucking asshole. We're like, okay, I mean, we not every, like just, but it was the words of learning some things to do was that was interesting. But I think a lot of it, I didn't take a lot of it in the beginning. There was I didn't trust it because I think some people were hiding it, but I think a lot of the time was they didn't understand why we wanted to know all this information sometimes, or they didn't think like somebody didn't think it was important. We'd always tell them like, we'll tell you if it's important, just tell us everything they said. And some of the words are great. Yeah. Some of the,
especially when I asked that they saw Americans saw Robert, because I doesn't know what's HOC mean. For me, I asked, and tomorrow, especially tomorrow morning, I was sleeping. That my LT came and asked me, what did you translate for them? All soldiers, all Afghan ANPs bring one robot for us. I said, sorry. Doesn't understand what was the HOC mean. I just asked him today, saw a HOC. Can you guys, if anyone's bring that HOC for us, we will give him a bed and like trophy kiko like that. And tomorrow morning was all the ANP soldiers with one with one robot came to ACP, and they was looking for me. And especially when General Pacha Khan knows that Americans are asking, he was really mad on us too. He was like asking to, why Americans at the midnight, why Americans asking our soldier to looking for dog or for animals in here like that, like this. I say, oh, for what? Now you're in a big problem. I talk with my supervisor. Hey, that was my mistake. I translate wrong. Please fix it back. Small words make a big problem for armies, for our interpreters, especially for U.S. Army when you translate wrong, especially in meetings, especially in village that you're walking with them.
It's a very delicate thing. I mean, there's something, and it can be, and how things are spoken, interpreted, and the way they're spoken too can change. How the whole interaction went as well too. I mean, if someone's says the wrong word or acts, I think a lot of it was like translating to like the mood. Does that make sense? The attitude of the person. Like there's some things like where you're that was my hardest thing to tell an interpreter how serious this time was and how not urgent, but how just how irritated or how very important what we were talking about is. And sometimes they would take that and you'd be like, no, this isn't a time to be like, I don't care about things. I just want to know about this particular thing. And
especially sometimes when the interpreter was translating for armies and ANAs or Afghan special forces that they was walking together in a patrol. That was really important. When I start, my English was not like good. I was not translating that. And anyone was asking me, I say, no, I'm not translating that. Because it will make a big problem for both soldiers, for Afghan soldiers and for American soldiers. I was not translating that. I was asking my friends. I remember one of my partner his name was Zach. I think he's at the United States. He's living in Virginia. That guy was covering that meetings, briefing, everything with the ANAs. And after like 6 months, that when I learn something from that guy, I start translating everything. And I was focusing. When I was translating, I was focusing about everything. Not just about patrols, about any. I was thinking, I was focusing about each word that I'm telling for ANP or ANS.
It's a serious responsibility because I mean, you have two people that don't speak each other's language, and like you said, the wrong thing or the wrong words or the wrong interpretation could have, some very bad effects for everyone.
Our interpreter in Afghanistan was eyes for US Army, ear for US Army, and like walking together with that interpreter. And no one was care of that, and they was just, I'm just translating. I was keep asking my partners, and some of partner was very good. I remember Rock, those people that I think they came to the United States before of me, and I was talking with them hey, we need to make a meeting with these local interpreters from Kandahar. We need to talk with them, and that was not allowed for me, and that because company was hiring those people, and the company is supposed to be talk with them, and I was not allowed to talk with them. And I talked with like more than 5 or 6 interpreters, and they was not taking serious my words. And I report that to my company that, hey, you guys are hiring these people, they're working with me in the same place, they're not doing good. And the company was also not taking care of those people. They was just hiring. They was just hiring because the government, United States government, was paying like for each interpreter 3,600, and the interpreter was just receiving 600, and 3,000 was going for company.
It's the same in America, it seems like.
Yeah.
So we're not that different, I guess. But so back to English. Like, when did you start learning English? Were you learning in school or just from
No.
other places? So when did you start speaking English?
And at the school, we are starting learning English when you get like we're graduating. We're learning like 12 years in a school, in a high school. After that, we start college for 4 years or 6 years. I start learning English in centers, not at school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was paying for centers, for teachers, and my dad was paying for one teacher that she was coming in our house and she was teaching us English. And I think she was from Pakistan. Yeah, I think she was from Pakistan and she was living in Afghanistan. His husband was Afghani. And she was teaching us English. I learned English on there. And when you're learning English in Afghanistan, you have to pay big money for them monthly. Like more than a college. You have to pay more than a college for them. I don't know about now about this situation in Afghanistan, but when I was in Afghanistan, because American was on there and everyone was learning English, they was making good money, they was applying for embassy in United States embassy in Kabul in Afghanistan. They was applying for that, for UK embassies. Because of that you have to pay like good money for them to learn English. And especially just my dad and my mom can't talk English, but my brothers, we are 5 brothers and 2 sisters, we are all can speak English. My brothers and my 2 young sisters that they are still in Afghanistan, they can speak English.
So who speaks the best English in the family?
My son.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he speaks it perfectly. He's like, oh, I got this covered for you, Dad. So how old is Muhammad? How old is he?
He's three and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's keeping you busy, I'm sure.
He like if when I was coming, like I'm working 12 hours from Friday to Sunday. When I'm coming back, when I'm coming back to home, it's taking like at 5 a.m. morning. I'm coming to home. When I'm going to my bed, like taking shower to go to bed, he's just waking me back at 8. Dad, play with me, please.
You gotta take advantage while you can. They grow fast, Fawad. They grow fast.
Yeah.
So you served as an interpreter for about 4 years, right?
Yes, sir.
So that time frame from 2010 to 2014, you're serving as a interpreter. Was there any type of blowback on your family at that time that you were doing that, or was it just kind of like, was anybody messing with your family? Was there anything negative going on with?
Yeah, when I start after 1 year, they start rating me. Especially when I joined with Herborn, I was walking with them. I was translating for villagers, for villager leaders, for everyone, and they was asking me my phone number. So if we got any problem, anything, we can call for you guys. I did a mistake. I gave my phone number for one of the villager and Panjwai. Panjwai, I remember the district name. Like that was funny for me. Also, they are calling Gundigar, that village. The villager asked me my phone number. I gave my phone number for them. After like 3 or 4 days, I receive a phone call. And when I respond, he told me I'm one of the Taliban commander. You have to leave your job. You have to find another job for yourself. You have to do another thing, but leave this job. I know you're from Kabul. Your dad is a doctor, and I know about your all entry of your family. I'm just advising you to leave your job. I was like, that was the first time that I was talking like a bad person. I say, okay, do whatever you want to do, because I was believing my job. I believe to US Army because I was working with US Army and I was know they can cover me. He told me that leave your job. I say, okay, whatever you want to do it. I goes to HCP, to my supervisor. It was to my lieutenant. I talked with that guy to, hey, I got a phone call from a bad person, and he's telling me that. He told me, no worry, we can take care of you. I say, okay, that's fine. I got like another phone calls. After 2 months, I got another phone call. After 3 months after that, I got a phone calls, and they was just keep telling me that. And I got a letter in near of my house. I got a threat letter by Pashto, and I have that. Not in here in Afghanistan. I have that. I keep that. They write a letter for me and they put it on the mosque, and the leader of that mosque, he bring and gave it to my dad. And my dad read that to me. That was on Pashto, and I doesn't want to my dad read that. That guy gave it to my dad, and I asked my dad to, hey, can I ask you a question, please? May I know that guy that he bring that later for you, to I can report that to Afghan government or to US government, to armies, to they can take care of that. My dad told me, no, I don't want any problem for family and for you and for myself. Do your job and don't give your phone number, don't take pictures, don't do anything that they know that you're doing that.
Right.
And cover your face after this. I say, okay. After, like, when the company lost the contract, I came back to Kabul. I start my college. When I start my college, my grandpa got an accident, like a car accident, and that was not a car accident. Because in center, they can come and they can shoot a person. When I was on there in 2000, like 14, 15, it was not allowed. Someone's come with gun and they shoot someone at the road. And I was know that they did that. And after after 1 week, I got another letter, a threat letter. When I got another threat letter, I showed that to my dad. I say, now I'm not working with United States Army. He asked me to go complain about that to Afghan government, like ANPs, Afghan police. When I goes to my district police station, I complain about that. That was funny for me. That guy, that commander asked me that don't come out from your house. I don't have like that much soldier that I give to every interpreters, to my soldiers taking care of all interpreters. Why you work? Now don't come out from your house. I say, oh, okay, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. I come back and I talk about situation. Me and my dad was like talking outside about every situation. And my dad asked me to, and he asked me to, that was really hard for my dad, that he asked me to leave the house, leave the country. And I was married, I get married, and he asked me to leave the country. I applied for Indian visa, and they was asking me like a big money for that visa. And I asked my from my college principal to, hey, if you guys have anything to can help me about this, and they helped me, and I goes to India. I stay on there for 2 years.
So you got your degree in 2016. You're a pharmacist, right?
2017.
17. Okay.
Yeah. End of 2016.
So you have your bachelor's in pharmacy?
Yeah. I'm a pharmacist.
And then you went to, like you said, you moved to India for a couple years?
For 2 years. I was on there for 2 years.
And working at, what is it, the pharmacist at Durga?
Durga chemist. I was working in a Durga chemist. And I was like, I joined in a college, and also I was working with that chemist. Like for 2 years, 1 year, I work on that chemist, and after that, I came back to Afghanistan. I got an offer from Afghan government to, because when I graduated, I got an offer from one of my friend that he was working with our president Hamid Karzai before, our former president Hamid Karzai. He was working. I got an offer from that guy. I came back to Afghanistan, and he promised me to, I will put you in a good position in Afghanistan to can take care of you, can take care of your family. Because of that, I came back to Afghanistan.
So with what happened, we'll fast forward to 2021. Do you wish you hadn't been in Afghanistan when everything went
I was
everything
working,
changed in 2021?
I was working in my ISAF because when they make like a small area for my life, like every time, like they was like treating me, my people was treating me that I work for them, I work for freedom, I work for them. They was like treating me, they was like every time calling me and talking and using bad word to me. I was applied for my site. I asked my former supervisor to, hey, I need later, and I like asked like multiple times that I need this later, and they're, when I'm sending this later, they're asking another later. And SIV, special immigration, is not easy for an interpreter.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the special immigration visa, so that people don't know. So that's a program that was available to people that worked with the United States Armed Forces or under the Chief Mission of Authority as a translator, interpreter in Iraq and Afghanistan. The program offered, when it first started in I think in 2006, they offered 50 SIVs a year for people to get out of Afghanistan and come to the United States. In 2007 and 2008, they upped that to 500, and then back in 2009, they put it back down to what the normally would be 50 people a year. And like you just stated, there's prerequisites for that. You had to be a national of Iraq or Afghanistan. You had to work directly with U.S. forces. You had to have obtained favorable written recommendations from a general or field or flag officer in chain of command, and it was an extensive program. And one of the things that can take a long time. So I think if you look at it, there's some people that talk about it taking up to like almost 3 years for that to happen, for someone to leave.
The first when you're applying for SIV, they're asking you HR letter from that company that you assigned for that, recommendation letter, certificates, and also your background check letter. When you got that all, you're applying for that. Yeah, you will get a auto response that they are asking you to we got your documentation. You wait for us. You have to wait like more than 6 months or 7 months. If you do it any mistake on that, if miss any later, they will send you another email to we need your this later or that, and after that they will send you one form, 157 DA form. You have to fill that, and after that when you fill that, they're checking that all on that form, your all family names, phone number, age, date of birth, everything they're asking. When you fill that forms, you submit that form for them. Like after that, you have to wait like for 3 or 4 months more. They're sending an email for your recommendation letter, LT that they write the name. If he respond, that's fine. If he didn't respond, they will send you another email to your supervisor is not responding. You need to contact with him. If someone's know about the LD or supervisor, that's fine. They can contact, hey, I need this. If someone doesn't know about the former supervisor, I know some people that they were still in Afghanistan, that they worked 10 years or 9 years with the special forces, with with the U.S. armies, U.S. Marine. I know those people that they work more than 15 years with the U.S. armies as a contractor, as an interpreter.
Right.
But they are still on there because they doesn't know about in charge. They doesn't know about the supervisor. They doesn't have any contact with them. They're still on there.
So what year did you apply for your SIV then?
I think I applied for my SIV on 2014.
Okay.
And I got my approval on 2000 at the end of on September 2019.
Okay.
Like it take like more than 6 years.
So in 2019, when you got your SIV, why didn't you come to the United States then?
No, I got my approval for that.
Okay.
I have to stay. I have to finish my all paperwork. After that, we have another, like when you got approval for SIV, that is the starting thing that you're applying for a visa. We have another forms, IS 360. You have to fill that. After that, you have to wait for approval of that. After that, they will send you form 450. You have to fill that. You have to wait for that. And when that all prove, you have to do medical check. After medical check, you have to wait for your interview at the embassy. After that, you have to wait like 3 or 4 months to get you have to wait for one of the company that they're transferring those interpreters from country to the United States. I forgot the name, and they're doing, after you got your visa, you have to wait for them, for that company that they're transferring. They're doing vaccination, like medical, everything for you. It's taking like long time. Like now, a lot of people that I know, my friends, when I'm asking when you are coming, you got your approval, when you guys are coming, they're telling no. We are not sure that we can come to the United States.
So what do you feel about that? Because when I hear that, I get frustrated because someone, there's a program that was put in place to help people that helped us to come to the United States, and it feels like if you talk to it, if you do your research, it's not just what I've looked at, but it's not an easy process. It's a process that I feel like they personally made it really long and really hard to do, to just make people forget about it and just say, hey, I'm not gonna. It's too hard. I'm not doing it. What's your thought on the process? You obviously dealt with it firsthand. I mean, do you think it works? I mean, obviously, it took how many years for you from start to finish to do
like
this
6 years.
Right.
I did like in 6 years.
But in 6 years, you could be, your family could be threatened. You could be.
I was just waiting for my interview.
Right.
In 6 years, after 6 years, I was waiting for my interview. And every time that I was sending emails, like when this government entered it, I got they send me a visa. When I take that visa, they send me an email and they send me a visa. When I take that to the airport, I saw everyone's got that visa. Everyone, my neighbor, everyone's got that visa. Because no name on that visa, nothing was on that. Just a barcode was on that, and a letter was on that they write some words on that you can show that to the airport. They will let you go. I have that all emails. When I take that, and when I saw everyone like printing, like copying and sending to each other, I say, no, that's not working. I call back to my former supervisor, Mattress back, and I ask him that I got my visa, I got my letter, that they keep asking me to go to the airport, but I can't go. I try more, but no one's care about this visa. Because everyone got that visa.
Right.
Everyone have their visa.
And everybody wasn't supposed to have it. That's yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that. So I guess we could we could talk about. Matt talked a few months ago about the experience. So you obviously were still in Afghanistan when the U.S. had this final withdrawal. On August 30th of 2021. So you were there. Um, Things got kind of crazy in Afghanistan from what we saw. What was going on after the withdrawal? I mean, obviously there was a max. We saw on TV people, wanting to get out of the country as quick as they can. There's a lot of images a lot of people remember. Like, how drastically did things change once we left Afghanistan?
I start from zero. I was sleeping. My wife, she asked me to, hey, wake up. I'm hearing like some people is firing or in this area. Some people, she was scared. When I come out from my room, I say, okay, now I take a shower and I goes outside. When I goes outside, that those people was on the former government harassed them and they was at jail. Everyone was within a bag and walking around like running. They opened the jail first. When I saw that, I scared. Really, trust me, I scared. And I came back and I called for my dad. And my dad asked me to don't go out. Don't let anyone to go out. I say, okay. I stay at home. And really, I was scared. At 11 p.m., one of our minister assist called me because at the last I was in a good position in Afghanistan. He called me. He asked me that about our president. I said, no, what happened? I said, he's trying to walk away, leave the country. I said, that's not like solving the problem. Like I was with conversation about that my brother came to me. When he came to me, he asked me for what all the Taliban is entered to Kabul. My brother have a construction company in Kabul, and when he saw, he just closed the construction company. He just came to house, and one of my brother and my dad is a doctor. He was working in a hospital. He was at the hospital, and my brother, he called me. He was taking care of my chemist on that time. He called me and he asked me, Fawad, I think it's not a good situation. Try to go to Pakistan, because my old friend is like asking me to send Fawad to Pakistan or to somewhere, because he can get to airport. Also, here's a lot of people come, and here's a rush. At the beginning, ask him to go to Pakistan. I said, no, I'm staying in here, because I was not like trusting to that guy that our president, Ashraf Ghani, he's leaving the country. After at 3 p.m., I got another phone call that if you want, one of my friend, that he was finishing the SIV the same time with me. He asked me, let's go to the embassy. I said, okay, let's go. I take my car, and when I come out, I saw all the road is blocked. I park back my car at my house, and I walk with that guy, just walking like more than 5 miles or 6 miles to US embassy. When I saw on there, no one was on there. Just Afghan ANP, Afghan police officer was on there, and they was not letting anyone to go to the embassy. I come back. I was shaking. And trust me, I scared from everything. Everyone was like, if you goes in a place that someone's trying to kill everyone, everyone was like running away from. No one was trusting on you. No one was trusting on his brother, on his dad. Everyone was walking around. I come back at home. I think I called for, no, My former supervisor, Matt Bresback, he tags me on Facebook. I asked him to, hey, sir, don't ask me about the situation. I think you already know about the situation.
It's going great, Matt. No.
Yeah. I think you already don't ask about our safety. I'm just trying to figure out I don't know about who is next, what's happening.
Right.
I don't know about that all. I'm just staying at home for now. And after 24 hours, after 24 hours, I tried to go back to US Embassy. I saw that there was a lot of new Taliban stay on there. They take the checkpoint. The Afghan former government soldier was left. No one was on there. And that all was the Afghan new government. Taliban was on there, and they was taking care of everything. When I saw that place, I just turned back and I came to house. I was thinking, I was not thinking about myself. I was thinking, because I was scared, I was thinking about my son and my wife and my mom, my two little sisters. Because men can solve the problems, or they will trying anything to us. It's no problem. I was thinking about the future of these people that they just trust to us. Like my son, he was 1 year old, not 1 year old. He was 10 months. I was thinking about that. No one was in my house for 48 hours. No one was eating. No one was drinking. They all scared. And I tried to go to the airport. I tried multiple times to go to enter the airport to talk with one American soldiers or with one American army guys that, hey sir, we got this problem and I work for US military and I'm in this area, that's the danger place and no one's taking care of us. If you can guys please take care of us, to take me to the airport or send me to third country, not to the United States, so we can save my family. There was a lot of rush. I came back to house. I text my former supervisor, Mats. I asked him to, I need your help now. I need your help. I need your support. And I was thinking that now, Fawad, you are in a mission with the US Army, take out your family and your parents. I was thinking about my all family and my all parents, my brother, my sister, my everyone. When I try 2-3 times to the airport, I say, no, it's not going to be happen to. I can take my all family with myself. I take my wife, my son. I was driving around by myself first. I was driving around and I was in contact with my supervisor. He was asking me to go to this gate or go to this gate of the airport. I try multiple times, but I can't because a lot of people was on there. Afghan former government special force was firing, and Taliban also firing, and they was beating with pipes. And that was the first time that my wife saw that situation, and my son, because my wife, she was living and she grew up in Pakistan, and she came when she get young, she was in 13 or 14 that she came back from Pakistan. I was worried about them, and I come back to home. I tried multiple times. I come back to home. The more important thing that when they come to my house and they take me, I was looking, someone's knock our door. I was sleeping. It was 9 or 10. It was 9-10 a.m. that they knocked my door, our house door. My wife's asked me to someone is knocking our door, and she was scared when I saw, and she go back to the bed and she sleep on there. I say, go sleep. I think someone is coming, guest is coming, and go and sleep. When I saw from my room's window, I saw like 1,000 soldiers outside. I say, oh no. I was thinking by myself that if I run now, if I walk away from them, they will kill my whole family. That was really hard for me to now decide. Deciding on that time was really hard. I say, okay, I have to go talk with them what they want. When I come out, my brother, younger brother, he asked me to don't go outside because they directly ask your name and they want you. I asked them that he is not at home. They asked me that we are waiting in here. If in half an hour he not come, we will search the house. I say, hey, it's not good for us. Today can come search the house, and my mom, everyone was on there. And my mom, she was crying. She was crying because my brother already told her that they're looking for Fawad. She was crying. I asked my mom to, hey, that I'm promising you that I will be back. I'm just talking with them and I will be back. I come out, they start beating me outside. When I come out, I'm just like, I remember that one of them came to me. He asked me, who's Fawad? I say, on Pashto language, I say, so my name is Fawad. What happened? Did I think some wrong? And he slipped in my face, slipped my mouth. And the other guy was calm and they handcuffed me in the back and he took me a little away from my house, and I asked my brother to don't let come my mom because my mom was my house door and she was crying in here that all soldiers was in here and I was outside and they start beating me and my mom was crying in here. I asked my brother to, hey, don't let my mom come outside. If she come outside, I don't care about these people, I will kill you. Because I don't want like my mom's come and they start beating my mom. Like I can't see that scene, and I can outside and they start beating me. They start using bad word to me. Like for half an hour, they was like trying to get me from that area to the checkpoint because a lot of those people that I was leaving on that place, a lot of people knows as me, my dad, because I was a pharmacist and I was helping those people, the leader, like older people come to request these people to, hey, let him go, they're not like bad people, why you guys like taking this guy? They was talking like that. Because of that, it take like half an hour. And half an hour they was everyone was one by one was like coming and beating me. I asked one of the leader of that village, hey, I asked him to, hey, let him to take me from here because they were beating me and my mom, everyone's crying. I don't want my wife see this situation. Let me go. I asked my brother to, hey, please take care of my son. And he just gave me a hug and asked me to, we will try our best for you. I said, no worry about me. Just, I'm asking you to take care of my son, please. And I sit with them. They take me in a checkpoint. The first checkpoint was like, because they closed my eyes or something. And they take me for like driving for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, they opened my eyes. I was in a building, in an apartment. And at the same time, I had two phones, cell phone. One was the smartphone and the other one was this cell phone, the small one. I take that one with myself and I gave that small phone that I have my old photos to my brother. And they didn't search my pockets because they don't care. They was thinking just about money, because when they enter in Kabul, I think the leader has to first take all money from them because they want to be strong, like they want to make us strong like that. And when they take me on that checkpoint, they opened my eyes. I saw that another guy was on there. They broke one of them hands. The other one was like on blood, face was on blood, and he asked me what you did. I say I didn't do anything. I did. They bring a wrong person in here. Like it was like 1 hour. They keep me on there. And in 1 hour, one by one was coming on there, asking me like 1,000 questions and baiting me on there. After 1 hour, they take me, they close my eyes, they take me to another checkpoint. They open my eyes. I saw 12 years old kid that they killed it, and they keep it at the bathroom. I was with that 12 years old child that they killed. And the leader of one of them came to me and he asked me that I know you, Fawad. Before I talk with you on the phone, I say, sir, I think you bring a wrong person. I'm not like that guy. And one Arab guy was around and he was talking with me, like trying to speak Arabic with me. I say, hey, you're not Afghani. I want to talk with an Afghani Talib. Bring an Afghani Talib. I don't want to talk with you. And that guy, like that Arab guy, beat me too much. He beat me too much. I have some photos. I didn't send that photos to my former supervisor. I still have that photos. I still have those photos that they keep me on that bathroom. I didn't share that with anyone. I have it in here in my cell phone. I keep that all. That guy came out, and the other guy that he came, that he asked me that I'm the leader of these people. He bring out the phone and he show my picture, one of my picture that I was with you, saw me that I shared that with you guys. He show me, I know you, don't lie to me. If you want to be alive, don't worry about anything. Just pay $100,000 for Shuhada Blad's money to we can support Shuhada's family. I know you're rich because you work for our US United States Army. They pay you good money. Just pay $100,000 and we will let you know. Go. I say, sir, I don't have like $1,000. How can I pay you like $100,000 in this time? He asked me that keep this guy to another room. I want to talk with this guy. And when he take me to another room, the soldier, one of the soldier, the hair was like that much, like a girl, and he came to me and he asked me, I have 32 rounds bullet in my AK-47. I will shoot you with that all. Tell me the truth. How much you have? I say, hey, don't scare me. I really scared. Don't scare me. You know, and that 24 round, how many people is going with me? You know that. Like I talk like that with that guy. And the leader came back and he asked me, call for your dad. I called for my dad. I asked my dad that my dad asked me what they want from you. I asked him they want money. They were asking me money. My dad asked me how much. I say 100,000, but I don't have like that much. I have 2,000 cash at home. Go ask my wife and please sell my car. And because on that situation, no one was buying cars. Like I buy that car like in 6,000, I sell it back in 3,000 or 2,500. And my dad was they make like 5,000 and they bring that money to that checkpoint. When they bring that money, they give it to them and they ask to let him go. And they didn't let me go. They asked my dad okay, we are waiting for our leader. When he decide, no worry about your son, we will let him go. He will come back to you. And they start beating my brother. Why you shave your beard like that? And my brother, I asked my brother to leave. He left. And I asked my dad came to me on there hey, they're not letting you go. And that was really hard for my dad, that he was crying. I never seen that my dad was crying. He asked me to Fawad, I know they are killing you. I know that they are killing you. Choose two things. If you wanna they cut your head with knife, that's hard for you. If you walk away, if you run away from them, they will shoot you from back, and that's easy for you. That is not easy for a dad.
Right.
I'm just calling from here that I'm a dad, I'm a father. That's not easy for a dad to asking his son like this. And he was crying. And my dad asked me to try, because Taliban is respecting two things: one, praying time, and one, the eating time, when they were eating something. It was near like 15 minutes or half an hour left for the nights, the evening praying time. That was the night. When they stay, it's taking 15 minutes to they pray. On that 15 minutes, that was imagined that I escaped from them. I run away. I pay for a taxi driver, and he was not trusting me. He took me to my father's friend's house.
You keep going.
Okay.
I have for my first. I have to take a bathroom break.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get real quick.
Yeah.
So keep going, Fawad.
Yeah, I just pay for that taxi driver, and he was not trusting on me because I was in blood. My whole body was on blood, and he was not trusting. He was thinking, because that situation was not easy for a taxi driver, that he's making a little bit money. I asked him that I will pay you more than that, you think, just take me in here. And he take me over there. I called for my dad to, if they come back, no worry. If they're just looking for me, if they come back, just you ask them that you take my son. Where's my son now? If you guys killed my son, bring the dead body, please, for us. And they make like that excuse. After like maybe 2 hours that I got my family, my dad's bring my son and my wife on his friend's house. I meet him on there. And I stay on there because the airport gate closed for 48 hours. I stay on there for 48 hours. I was in contact again with my former supervisor, and he was like supporting me to, like, he was making my family, like supporting my family to, he will help us. And I was getting happy that he can help, because I was at the first I was thinking that no, he can't help us, I'm done in here. I was just thinking about my family. I'm telling the truth. I was on that time that he was calling me, he was supporting me. I was just thinking about my family, to how to get him live, how to take him in a safety place. I was thinking about that. Still, I'm like thinking about my parents, that they were still in Afghanistan. They make problem. They make a lot of problem for them. I know if they got this scene, they will make another problem. They will make more problems for my parents, for my family in Afghanistan. But I need to tell the truth for the United States people, to how Americans help Afghan peoples. Non-American was wrong in Afghanistan. They support my country for 20 years. If you work for 2 years in a city, in 2 years you can make a good city over there. But they help my people, they support my people for 20 years. More than 20 years. But nothing was changed. After that, I decided that I'm coming to the United States. I just tried like multiple times to get to the airport by help of my former supervisor. He was coordinating me the gates, to if you can go in this gate, or show some, use some names to he can come help you. But I try because everywhere was missed. Rush was too much. Everyone was at the airport. Everyone was scared to run away, to walk away from Afghanistan. Everyone was, all Afghanistan, all Afghan people, all former government was at the airport. Like if you think in Kabul, like 6 million people was living in Kabul. That all 6 millions people was at the airport.
Yeah, and I'm sure everyone
Yeah,
watching saw the footage and saw the chaos that ensued those few days where
yeah,
everyone was just trying to get out.
everyone was just trying to get out from Afghanistan because everyone's scared. Everyone doesn't know about the future, about 1 hour, after 1 hour, what's happening to me, what's happening to my family. Everyone was trying to walk away from them. After when I saw, like, I tried multiple times, my brother found a person near of that place that he was working. That guy that told my brother that I can take your brother because he's not in a safety. I can help him, but he have to pay me. He have to pay me. I pay for that guy. I called for my former supervisor that, hey, I'm paying for one guy that he's taking me to the airport, and he introduced himself for me that he's an interpreter at the airport. Because of that, I trust to that guy that, okay, if you are interpreter, okay, I can pay you. That in Afghanistan, that's like rules that you have to pay for someone to help you about something. I pay for that guy. That guy take me to the airport. After like 2 or 3 hours that we try. He talked with one Marine guy, and that Marine guy, he called from my phone to my former supervisor, and my former supervisor talked with that Marine guy, and they let me go to inside of the airport. After like maybe like half an hour, the suicide bomber attack at the airport. And when I get to the airport, my son was sick. He was sick. And I was trying to get a medic, to a doctor, to a person who can help us. And he was just keep crying. And a lot of people was on there inside of the airport. Like a brush was on there. I asked my former supervisor, hey, if you know anyone at the airport, to please help me because my son is sick. He is sick. He is not good. Like after 2-3 hours, one guy came to me and take a picture with me and my family and take my son to a medic, to hospital on the airport hospital, and give him some medicines, and they helped me. I stay at the airport like for 48 hours. After 48 hours, they arrange a flight for us to Qatar. I stay on Qatar for eight days. After 8 days, I come for 24 hours. I was in Bahrain. After that, I got a flight to España for 24 hours. I stay on there 24 hours. After that, I arrive at September 5th. I arrive to Washington, D.C., to the United States.
And with you was your wife, your son,
Yeah.
and who else was with you?
My wife, my son, and that guy that Abdul Haq, that he helped me. He was into Qatar with us. The Qatar, because he used my name to, he's my brother. And I talk with one of my guy that he's not my brother. He's not my brother. And he let him go inside. When you, on that situation, when you enter the airport, no one was asking you, who are you? Because you entered to the airport. But the problem was when you entered to the airport, the problem was at the Qatar, because they was screening you, like biometric, everything was on there. Kabul airport was no problem. When I get there and they ask me to talk about that to the Qatar, and one of army guy, like, he told me that you asked the other armies that he's my brother. I say no one's asked me about that he's my brother. But one guy asked me, I'm not lying about that he asked me, is that your brother? No, I said he's my friend, he's just helping me, he's my friend. And no one asked me about that guy. And he came to the United States. He was living in New York, but they send him back. I heard like 6 months ago that they send him back to third country, because those people that they don't have any paper or anything, any case, they're sending to third country to finish your paperwork and come back. We will bring you back. And I heard that he is on the third country. I don't know the country name, or I don't know about the real that he's in the third country or he's still in here. Yeah.
So you said that the Kabul airport was nothing, but I'm sure we all saw like the process of actually trying to get into the airport was pretty crazy. So can you elaborate a little more on like what you had to do to actually get into the airport? You said once you were in, it was, no problem. No one was stopping you, asking questions, but wasn't it pretty difficult to actually get into the airport?
No, that was not
No.
easy. That was not easy to go talk with a army or marine guy, because you have to walk. You have to like walk 1,000 or 1,000,000 people was on there. You know how to manage to go to talk with a marine guy that, hey, my name is this, I work for this, that's my paperwork. That was not easy for you. And that guy Abdul Haq, that he take me to the airport, he was no a small gate from the back of the airport that he take me to there. Two marine guy was on there, and that was not the gate. That was an exit, an emergency exit, that he take me from that gate. And he was just I think he helped some other people also.
Yeah.
To get him inside the airport from that way. Yeah. And that was not easy. Like when I arrived to the United States, I start from zero, like by help of my former supervisor and his friends, Jeff, and all those people that I really appreciate those people that they help me and they support me and they support my family. I really appreciate, and I need to say thanks to all of them.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, all that they are doing for me and for my family, and they did for me and for my family.
And we really appreciate you coming on here to share your story.
I really
because
appreciate
it's
you.
an incredible story.
I really appreciate for having me in here, for inviting me in here. My family, that we are in here because of you guys. We are saving here. I'm like working, supporting my family for now. Like still, when you're starting from zero, you have to work hard. You have to fight with your life. Still, we are in these 2 years. I'm still fighting with my life, but I know, I trust on Americans that they will support. They will support us and my family to we can make a good life. I'm just trying to stay back in my feet, to kind of start back my college, to get my license in here, to go back to pharmacist position. I'm just trying to first I stay in my feet.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're glad you're here with us.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So I'm going to pass back over to Che.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, Josh, the film, look at that. I like it. Jason's going to be jealous now.
Hey, Nate was too.
So I've been listening to the background there. So the one question I had is, when you got to the United States, did you know you were going to come to Ohio because your relationship with Matt, or did you have another choice of where you wanted to go?
My choice was on Ohio, because I doesn't know about Ohio, about any state of America, and just I know that my uncle, he was living in California, He was in California, and some member of my family is in California. But I didn't think about that. I just directly text my former supervisor, Mazdras, back to, hey, I want to come and I want to stay with you. From my whole family.
So
I
what
chose-
did
because,
Matt say when you told him that?
he told me, Fawad, I'm living in a small town and I'm living in Ohio, and I asked him, okay, I want to come. I want to come to that place that you are living. I want to stay with you. I got offer from my uncle, from my family members on there. They was just, I'm not talking about my uncle. Sorry, uncle, you're not a good guy. Also, he asked me, he offered me to come. He was just offering me.
gonna-
Yeah, he knows that I saw from zero in here.
Right.
But I saw from zero. He know I need help. My family members that they was living in New York, Virginia, and California, they was know that I need help, and because I come, I'm just telling the truth. I'm not lying. I come to the United States with 8,000 Afghanis that make like $150, and my wife come with a little bit money that someone stole that all from us at New Jersey camp.
But where were we at? New Jersey, Fort Dix or where?
Fort Dix.
Okay,
Yeah.
But-
And my uncle was like offering me some people. I said no. They are just. I talk with my wife. I say, hey, listen. They're offering us. They knows that we need help. They're not asking us to come with us because when I was in Fort Dix in New Jersey, I saw my uncle on there that he was working on after like 10 days. Yeah, after 10 days, he came to New Jersey and he was working on there. And he was asking me that if you need anything, I said, no, I'm good. Thank you. I don't need your help. I have a brother that he saved my life. He will help me in here. I don't need your help. Thank you so much, Afghani. He's listening, I think. I don't have any problem with him.
Right.
My uncle, my blood, my brother, my everything. Like, I'm just telling about Matt how he helped me.
Well, no,
I'm just talking about Matt, about Jeff. That when I come in here, directly he asked me no worry about anything because we're glad to you are safe. And that was like I get like I was love American, but when he told me that, I talked with my wife to see these people and see our people. What's different between these people and our people?
Right.
And my wife asked me that she asked me to don't talk about this. Like, leave it. Now we are safe. We need to thanks Matt and his family and his friends. We need to thanks American government. He help us, they help us, they support you, and we are safe in here. We can take care of our son now in here because when they take me out, when I got back my son and my wife, I talk with my wife because my dad sell my car. I asked one of my friends. I was paying 2,000 each night that he was taking me because they send my photos around the airport to if anyone's got this guy, we can pay for that. And I just covering my face, and that guy was driving for me. I talked with my wife to, hey, now we are walking together. If they kill both of us, who can take care of our son? I know I'm not sure that they were not killing my son, but who can take care of my son? My wife she asked me, if we die, we will die together, and I'm not letting you go alone. Like, I know if I let you go alone, you will be, if someone like in here beating you with pipe, you will going crazy and you will do a bad thing, they will kill you. I'm staying with you. And she stay with me. And every time I was talking with my wife, when I was in Afghanistan, we both was deciding about our life. And I think she's smart more than me. Now still when I'm working, when I'm coming, when I'm arranging my meetings at work like that, I'm just asking my wife, hey, I got this meeting. What should I do? What should I say? And she's helping me. I just asked my wife to see my uncle and see our family that they were living at the United States in here and see this guy. After 10 years, he helped me out. After 10 years, I just worked for them for this unit just 1 year or 11 months. I just worked for 11. I work for 11 months for this guy. I talk with my wife like this. I work 11 months, but he support my whole life. He's taking care of me, my wife, and he saved my life. I'm not just talking about Matt. I'm talking about all United States Army. I need to. I really appreciate United States Army, United States government that they support my country or my people, and I hope that they arrange to make a good peace for Afghanistan. I'm not asking to they goes back to Afghanistan. I'm not asking this. I just want to Americans just can make a management for Afghan government because they know Afghanistan area, Afghan peoples now. They knows about everything of Afghanistan. I'm just requesting to they can if they can they make a management, a good management for Afghanistan. Because when I'm talking with my dad, with my family, with my friends, they're crying. I can support like I'm supporting my family. Those people that doesn't have anyone's outside, how if you think about them, because they're not letting the former governments work to this government. Like I knows a lot of soldiers, I knows a lot of former government high ranks that they're still in Afghanistan. And they don't have nothing to eat. I remember one of the minister has called me and asked me for $20. We have like those people that they are clean, they're good people. They didn't work for money. They just work for to bring peace in Afghanistan. They don't work for money. I know we have like good people. We have a lot of good people, especially in Kabul. That I was living in Kabul, we have a lot of good people on there.
Good people in Ohio now, right?
Yeah.
So has Matt taken you hunting yet, or done any of his activities? Has he taken you bird hunting? Not yet.
No, he take me. Yeah.
Hunting with the birds. Does he take you out?
No, not yet. No, I didn't. He didn't take me on there. Actually,
He's holding out on you. He goes on these good trips.
Yeah, I'm working at the weekend. I'm asked for free a weekend because I'm working at the weekend. Like sometimes he asking me to come on the like at the United States. Just still, I'm just trying to fight with my life to stay back to my feet. You know that, like supporting family, that's not easy for one guy. Like we have a lot of people that they come from Afghanistan. They're sharing like apartment with each other. Like I know some people is like 4 people, 5 people, 6 people is paying rent, like bills, everything. But I have to, because I have family, I have to pay everything by myself.
Well, one more question before you go. So what's been your biggest adjustment being in the United States now? You've been here a couple of years. What's the biggest adjustment you've had to deal with here in the United States? I heard you talk. Is that starting over, or is there, what kind of cultural thing, or is there anything else that's been difficult for you personally the past couple of years?
I like this culture first, and nothing is the changes. Just in here, everyone is nice. Everyone is nicely like everyone is friendly with you, but at work and anywhere that I'm going, I'm seeing nice people, friendly people. I like that. But in these 2 years, like I didn't think about just I'm trying to make my son and my wife to a good and helpful person in here. I'm busy on that.
Right.
And I'm busy to make a good character for myself in here.
Well, that's your new mission. That's your new job. That's an important one. I think you've taken care of a lot of people, and you get, you're a brother, and I'm glad you came on. It's really, I've been really looking forward to hearing your story, and it makes me feel good to know that someone that we work with and had, the same, Matt and other, military people serve with, and that you guys have, that you're back, you're safe, your family's safe, that you're prospering, that you're happy. And again, I want to thank you again for your service. I said this before, and some people have said this, if you read about it, you did serve, just like, you served more than a lot of Americans did in some of the things you did. So I'm really proud to have the American flag up there. It was a funny thing that I asked Fawad to bring the Afghani flag with him, and gave him the choice to put up the Army flag or the Afghani flag, and he said keep that one, and we ended up putting it over here. So
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really thanks for having me in here. And at the end, I want to say thank you so much from everyone, from all United States government, to their supporting us. They're helping me, and those people that they especially support me and stay with me, and still they're staying with me and supporting me. I really appreciate that from all of them. And once again, thank you so much.
Well, thank you
for
thank
having
you
me in here.
Yeah. You're always welcome. If you can get the day off, you have a different schedule, but we can, you're always welcome here to come on, like all of our former guests. But again, thank you for your service. Thank you for taking care of, many brothers and sisters that were over there and doing more than just interpreting. But keeping them as safe as you could, and being a great partner. So we're going to get into the I always struggle to say what this, what is, but the dark part or the rough part of each podcast. Tonight, we're going to honor another service member who unfortunately took their life. Tonight, we're going to honor U.S. Army Major Tad T. Hervis, who was 36 years old. Tad took his life on October 6, 2009, while he was deployed in Basra, Iraq. He was born in January 16th, 1961 in Cumberland, Wisconsin, and graduated from Coon Rapids High School in Coon Rapids, Minnesota in 1979. Tad began his military career in the Air Force ROTC at the University of Minnesota, Duluth. After graduating, he was commissioned as a navigation officer and later served in the First Gulf War. After his initial commitment was over, Tad returned to civilian life and worked a few years at Fireside Hearth and Home. After 9/11, the 9/11 attacks, Tad joined the Minnesota National Guard. While he was in the Minnesota National Guard, he deployed to Iraq in 2004 as a commander of the 216th Air Defense Artillery Echo Battery. And at the time of his death, Tad was serving as a military intelligence officer for the 34th Red Bull Infantry Division. Tad was known for his smile, sense of humor, and his ability to make anyone laugh. He would offer the shirt off his back and expect nothing in return. Tad's passions were family, friends, cooking, sports, his dogs, and standing in the river fly fishing. Tad is survived by his grandmothers Bertha Melby and Clara Hervis, his parents Ned and Barb, his brothers Todd, Kurt, Corey, and Kevin, and his sister Julie. And if there's anyone out there, any veteran, any other person that is contemplating suicide, please contact the Veterans Crisis Hotline at 988 or 1-800-273-8255 and press 1, or you can text 838-255. And again, if you don't want to talk to a professional, which I highly recommend, you always have to, you can always reach out to someone. That's one of the big things we always talk about here is to, pick up the phone, call, text, talk to somebody, someone who will listen. You just have to keep trying. So again, Fawad, thanks for coming on. We'll end it with another quote. I had a couple of them. But one that's one that's got, there's a movie that's pretty interesting that you came on. There's a movie that's out right now, The Covenant, that just came out here recently. And it deals with an interpreter and the relationship, it's a good story, but not as good as yours and Matt's. I think, how they go. He's not paying attention right now, but it's a very strong story. It's not a true story, but based on a lot of events that you've talked about and what a lot of other people have said. So I'm going to go with that quote, and it says, and this is a quote from one of the characters, Sergeant John Kinley in the movie, and he said, "Oh, I see. You brought me in here for an intervention or to slap my wrists. That's not why I'm here. You think if I could be shot of this debt, I wouldn't be. You think if I could just go through the usual channels, I wouldn't. That is not how this debt works. It demands a result, not an appeasement. There's a hook in me, one that you cannot see, but it is there." And what he's referring to at the time is there was an interpreter that saved his life that he was trying to get him back. So it's very, I thought that was a good quote, because the same thing, I feel like, talking to Matt and talking to you, there's definitely a bond between you two. I think there was a debt that you both had to each other, and it's pretty amazing to see that, how much you two love each other. And again, I just want to truly thank you for coming in. It's been an honor to have you on. Again, we can have you in here anytime you want. You're welcome. You did promise some Afghan food next time, so we're looking forward to that. But thank you, everyone. I think you got some quotes up there that say, look, Matt's getting some good hits there, but Dre's back as the man, and then what a story. So thank you. I think thank you to everybody, and hello to everybody in Afghanistan. Hopefully today, Afghanistan, UK, some other places. Hopefully, so this may be our farthest reaching interview, and I want to thank you for that. One final note. For the PWP family, you've seen some stuff here on the table the whole time. This is a package. If you see here real closely, I'll send some pictures here in the next couple of days. But this is the Knob Creek Be There bottle display, a PWP glass, some other Knob Creek memorabilia. We will be auctioning this off at the pickup on Sunday. We'll have tickets available. What was it? Raffle. Auction. I'm sorry. Raffle is a technical word. We will have a raffle with raffle tickets, an official raffle. We'll be at Zaptic. The raffle will go from 12 o'clock all the way to 4. Come by, pick up your bottle like we've talked about before. If you don't have a bottle, please come by, meet some other members of the group. Also, you have a chance to win this. And this will be open to everybody. If you've already won a bottle, if you already purchased a bottle, you will be able to win this as well. So we'll have the tickets on sale at Zaptig. And we will hopefully we'll see most of you here at Sunday. Again, we'll be at Zaptic from 12 to 4. And again, Fawad, thank you for coming in.
Thanks.
Thank you, Magnum. Thanks, Tom Cruise.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maverick. And we'll see everybody in a couple weeks. Thanks. Have a great night.